This is the greatest moment of my life. And if I die tomorrow, I did everything I've ever wanted to do, and then some.
I love the fact that I can drive 5 minutes and see my childhood. I remember good times, I remember bad times. You know, my business manager has insisted countless times that I really need to leave the area because, it's, you know, it's got a lot of character. But this is home. This is home for me, and I feel like if I were to leave, I would be losing touch with what's real. This neighborhood did not look like this. This neighborhood right now looks like, wow, look at that. It's so clean. We're coming up on the first neighborhood I lived in here in Long Beach, where my mom and I moved here about 35 years ago. I actually lived in this apartment building with my mom when we first moved in, right there. From that window right upstairs. My mom used to yell at me from that window, right up there, and I'd play down here. This was my playground. And she'd say, "You make sure you play where I can see you." My friends would call us the tower, because my mom could see me from basically anywhere up there. I was actually a really, really good kid growing up. I was a big mama's boy. My mom ruled, okay? So whatever my mom said, I did. I didn't question her because, you know, I knew that she had a rep, and I did not want to challenge her, and I didn't want to disappoint her. Even though this was a rough neighborhood and there was a lot of gang violence, like the next block over, there were people getting shot, people getting run over. There was always police cars in this neighborhood. This neighborhood has changed a lot since I was here back in the 80s. That sounds crazy. Yeah, the 80s. And I was like, woof, it's a long time ago. You know what? I want to take a picture. This is pretty cool.
Every single entrance has a digital greeting system that talks to you, which messes people up the first time, because when you walk in, you don't expect to hear,
"Ding! Welcome to the Ontario Mills Fashion Center, Area 1, Section 2.
There's people like, "Whoa." But see, I knew something was fishy. I knew something was wrong because my friend Felipe and I walked in and was like,
"Ding! Bienvenidos al Mall de Ontario, eh?"
I said, that's a hell of a coincidence. At least I thought it was until we saw this black guy walk in.
"Ding! Yo, dog, welcome to the mall."
The comics that were very influential for me were Eddie Murphy, Robin Williams, and most definitely Paul Rodriguez. Paul Rodriguez was the only person I saw on TV that I was like, wow, they kind of looks like me. There was relatability there. That's why I feel like now with social media and the internet and the amount of people that are watching what I'm doing, especially this Dodger Stadium thing, what's to say that people don't get inspired to want to do something because of that? And that's when you realize that you're doing something bigger than what you planned for. This is my elementary school where I went to school from 2nd grade to 6th grade. This school had a talent show. I showed up here with a friend of mine to do an audition to do like a Saturday Night Live sketch. And when we walked up to do these sketches, my friend ran out that door. And so I was stuck there by myself. And so that's when the lady was like, "Hey, you don't know how to do anything by yourself?" And I'm like, "Why? I know how to do voices." The first ever time I got up in front of people was right here. And I remember my mom, my sister-in-law, my brother were sitting right over there in the corner. And to me, this was oh my God, look at all those people. And 25 years later, I'm like, wow, this thing is way smaller than I thought. But as a kid, this place was enormous. When I started getting the reaction from the people, I wasn't sure what to expect because I didn't know I was doing comedy. I thought that I was supposed to get applause. I thought I was supposed to get applause after every time I did a voice or character. When people actually started laughing, I wasn't sure how to interpret that. It was loud, and then there was laughter and applause, and then, you know, people were standing up at the end. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it almost seemed like it was too easy, or like someone paid them to do it. At that point, I was used to being bullied. I was used to being called fat or just like that kid, whatever. But after that night, I realized that what I did made everyone see me differently, and I liked it. You know, who doesn't want good attention? I have not been in this room since 1987. What year is it now? It's a long time.
I said, all right, Fabian, Mr. Batman's the best. Based on my t-shirt says Marvel Comics. I said, I see Thor, I see Captain America, I see Iron Man. Who are some of the superheroes that DC Comics has that makes them better than Marvel? Go. Batman, you said that. Superman, that's a good one. Wonder Woman, okay. Green Lantern, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, I know the other superheroes, but Green Lantern? What's his power? He wears a ring, and the ring gives him power. I said, that's a fantasy. I don't know any man who wears a ring who has power.
Before I got into stand-up comedy, I had a number of different jobs. I sold cell phones, back when cell phones were hard to sell, not like now where anyone and everyone can get a cell phone. Making the transition from having a day job to pursuing the life of an entertainer full-time, I was working all day at my job, and then at night I was going to do comedy. But as a comedian, you don't just go home after you get off the stage. You had to talk to people, you had to engage, you had to hang out and go to Denny's until 3 o'clock in the morning talking to other comedians. Hey, where else is there a gig? Can I get the number of that booker? Hey, where do you think I should go?
If you didn't see this commercial, let me paint a picture.
There was always moments of doubt, but I knew that I needed to cut the cord. Once I cut the cord, I'm like, all right, it's sink or swim now. I cannot go backwards. And I would get calls, come back to work, come back, we miss you. And I'm like, no, I can't go back. I'm gonna make this comedy thing work. It was rough because I did want to go back to that comfortable. And that's the thing, a lot of times you need to get away from comfortable. If you're ever gonna succeed in life, you gotta get out of comfortable. Once you get complacent and once you get like settled, you're not gonna do anything else. I ran out of money very fast. My sister took me in and I slept on a couch for about 1.5 years before I was able to make enough money to just be at least a decent roommate.
Chris Rock is in the room. He can hear the stupid conversation that's taking place. I know this because I can hear Chris Rock in the background. What's going on? Who's at the door? Move out the way. Yo, Chris, I got this, man. I got this. Move! All right. And the guy stands to the side, and now I'm looking at Chris Rock, and he recognized me, and it freaked me out. Oh, yeah, it freaked me out. He's like, ah, shit! Look who it is. Look who it is. It's the king of the Mexicans.
My process on stage for material and what stays versus what goes, I always give something a good opportunity. If I think that something's funny, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make it work when I go up there. The challenge is just making it funny from beginning to end. Because ultimately, when you have a whole set, you want it to flow well and you don't want the stories to be so different that it doesn't connect as well. But nothing is ever gone, it's just on the back burner.
Hey, man, good to see you.
For me to feel comfortable enough to put out a new special, I need at least 2 years. At least 2 years to test it, be on the road with it, feel comfortable with it, know that whatever works in LA also works in New York, also works in Nebraska, also works in Oslo, Norway, so that, you know, when I do it on the show, it's gonna work everywhere once it comes out. I have this big show at Dodger Stadium coming up and I am, it hasn't hit me yet. I've been there for concerts, so I know what it looks like when you're there, but it still hasn't registered that I'm gonna be doing a show there. I love the fact that I can say that I am taking comedy to a place that not a lot of people have taken it. I've taken it out of just a comedy club. I've taken it out of just a theater. I've taken it now out of an arena. The fact that we're taking this to a stadium says, you know what? Stop looking at us like we're jokes, because we're not. I go out on stage every night without a band. I go out without an instrument. I don't have pyro. I don't have all these bells and whistles. I go out there and I bring the noise every night with just a microphone. And I think that's something that the industry needs to realize. There's a lot of us out there, we just need an opportunity. And if we don't get that opportunity, it doesn't matter, we'll create our own. Look behind me. I love watching comedians that do things that I don't do. So for example, I like comics that get very political. I like comics that get very controversial. I like comics that push the envelope and make you go, oh, like Jim Jeffries, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say Dave Chappelle. I'm sure they'll tell me something like, what? He listens to Dave Chappelle? Yeah, and that sucks too. Like just because you like somebody now, it's all of a sudden you take on their views and their opinions, which is horseshit. But you know, whatever the case, I like comics that push the envelope because that's stuff that I don't do. That's not what my fans signed up for, and it would be a disservice to all of a sudden change what I do and start being political or start being like, you know, oh, this is how you gotta be. No, you know. And I get people that come down on me and they say that you don't use your platform to help or to make a difference or to encourage whatever the situation is. And I'm like, that's not my place. I signed up to be an entertainer, and that's what I do.
As Americans, we have a certain way with the English language. Do you understand how we sound to them? I mean, seriously, do you know how they look at us when they hear us speak? We sound like this to them.
I'll tell you right now, the other day I was hanging out with Phil, right? That some bitch come over to the house. We had ourselves a good old time. It was just me and Phil.
And by the way, if you sound like that here tonight, I'm just kidding. There's just jokes. Don't feel like just, you know.
I'm gonna wait for his ass outside. I see how funny he is when he gets to the parking lot. Fluffing my ass.
The reason I started wearing Hawaiian shirts on stage, I want to have a certain brand and be consistent. I chose a nice, loud Hawaiian shirt because it was friendly. I didn't come across threatening. You know, there's a lot of artists that want to wear black or they want to just look cool. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that I was there to have fun. And, you know, nothing says fun like a Hawaiian shirt. You're just there to have a good time. When the shows happen, I always feel well rested and ready to go. There's no real preparation.
Yeah, great. Yeah, you go.
I know a lot of people that, oh, I have to get in the zone, or they gotta light incense, or they gotta take a sip before they go up there, or they gotta leave me alone, I gotta get in my place. No, I'm very, very comfortable on stage, and so I'm very conversational backstage with whoever I'm around, whether it's a tour director, tour manager, or craft services. Or, you know, I got my dogs right there, so I'm very, very comfortable before I go up. So where do I draw the line between Fluffy versus Gabriel? Well, I think Fluffy's been running the show for a long time. It is a little bit harder, but finding that balance of me being Gabe versus being the guy that's on stage. I'm actually very quiet. You know, the only reason I'm talking a lot right now is because, you know, you guys are here, but you know, for the most part, I just chill. I'm quiet. Oh, wait, watch this. Hey, how you doing?
What's going on?
I'm just here, you know.
We were just saying, we're like, we know that guy. I'm like, that's Iglesias.
Yeah, so Fluffy, right?
Fluffy.
Yeah.
That's what I just said to them.
I'm trying to keep you guys off camera. I don't know if you guys are like have warrants or anything.
Yeah, we do. We do. We have tons of them.
All right, I'll see you at the next light.
All right.
See, now I could have been like, hey, let me just continue to be upset at the fact that I'm stuck in traffic, but that guy was smiling, he's happy, he just wants to say hello. And if I can't take 2 seconds to just be like, hey, what's up, man? Just, you know, be cool. Then, yeah. It's funny, no one's ever documented that. It's pretty interesting. Now I'm gonna go back and watch it. And here was the moment where we discovered that Gabriel Iglesias and Fluffy are in fact 2 different people. What's your name?
Joanne.
When people come up and ask for an autograph or they want to take a picture, it's still special. No matter what, it's always going to be special because that's somebody that thinks that highly of you. Yeah. Unfortunately, I never took breaks. I never took vacations. I don't even know what that's like. People are constantly telling me, you know, you work too much. You got to take a break. I go, no, I can't take a break because the second I take a break, someone else is going to come up and take my job. You know? I look at this career like a beach ball. You gotta throw that beach ball in the air, and every time it comes out, you gotta constantly throw it back up in the air. And the second you take your eye off the ball, that's when it hits the ground, and that's when you're done. We're right here in front of the Golden Sails Hotel. This is the first place I did stand-up as a comedian. It was April 10th of 1997. I remember doing shows here and then going out there to the little fountain and like having my little nostalgic moments, like, oh my God, like, this is so cool. And I throw pennies in there and hope to have better jokes. And I guess I threw enough. So just so you know, the whole area looked very different, but the structure is still the same. So this was still the actual steps to go up. This was like a little ghetto green room area where you know, we could watch the show and whoever else was performing. So the night when everything went down, basically my friend was pushing me and he's like, get your ass up on stage. And then I had to come up this way. And already, like, this was the moment of terror. I basically wound up doing the bits that I did in school as a kid, as an adult now, doing voices and characters. And it went over very, very well. And even though it was only like 4 minutes the most, it was powerful and it reignited everything. And it made me come back a week later. And the funny part is that there was somebody in the crowd that booked a comedy night at the very same spot. And he goes, hey man, you were super funny. You wanna come back next week? I'll give you 20 bucks. So I had a paying gig after doing comedy one time, which was like, I'm onto something. I'm onto something. You know, to be standing on this particular stage, which, like I said, me starting stand-up in April 10th of 1997, and then 25 years later, literally a couple weeks off the mark of my 25th anniversary, to go from this to a sold-out Dodger Stadium, it's just like, wow, you know? So yeah, that's what happens when you don't take days off. It's still not real. It's still not real. Being from this area, being from Los Angeles, being Mexican, growing up, it's not like I'm doing, you know, Madison Square Garden or somewhere that's just like, ooh, this or that. No, this is home. You know, I've spent many hours, many games on the Dodger Stadium. It's part of the community. It's part of life. So the fact that I get to be part of that and that it's the local boy doing good. And I think that it's awesome that it's the biggest show of my life and it is happening at home. When I'm on stage, everything makes sense. As soon as I walk through the curtain, I can do no wrong. Even if I slip up, I'm still very confident. It's when I get off that stage where I look at the first person that I see and I'm like, was that okay? Was that good? But if I walk back out there, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. My insecurities come back when I leave the stage.
250 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle. The car is bad. I pull up. Marty! Órale! Some of you are drunk.
So having material that fans want to hear again and again, I call them the classics.
Woo! Flappy!
The way that started happening, whether it's a story about Martin or Donkey, the joke, whatever jokes are the classic ones from the original special. See, the problem was in the beginning, I only had so much material, and some of those jokes I had already done on television. And I says, wow, you know, they were good, but you know, maybe it's a different audience. And how about I take those same jokes that I did on TV already, and then I just put them in a special. And so the thing is, that material was already out there and people already knew me from that material. So when I did the special and I decided to, hey, let me just try to pull a fast one on the network by using old material. So when I got to it, the people reacted a certain way where they were like, yes! And I'm like, what is happening? I remember when it happened where the crowd just went crazy and they wouldn't even let me finish the joke. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I said, that's a fluke. It's, you know, wow, okay, that crowd, something wrong with them. I tried it again the next night and the same thing happened. It was like a callback. It's like when you're doing your show and you say something in the beginning and then you bring it up again later and the crowd always laughs harder because they're like, that's funny. And you pulled something from the past and you brought it right now and yay, you know, and that's what it felt like.
I get pulled over by a cop one night, 2 minutes after coming out of a Krispy Kreme drive-thru. All right? Don't get ahead of me. Watch, I made a left turn instead of making a right, but I wasn't paying attention because I had a box. I was like, oh, you're gonna get it when you get home. Oh, you've been so bad.
I found out that first special had a lot of classic material in it, and I just started testing it. Like, well, let's see if they want to hear this again. Let's see if they want to hear this again. And now the crowd feels disappointed if I don't do certain bits. No matter what, I could do 2 hours, but if I don't do the Krispy Kreme joke at the end, like, really? We waited 2 hours and you didn't do the bit? And even though I'm like, I'm so over the joke, I'm not over the reaction. And that's why I do it. And so basically it's my Sweet Caroline. So when I go out there, I'm Neil Diamond, you know? Like, all right, here you guys go. But I think that's cool too, because what comic has freaking classics? It's weird, it feels like a band.
Should I keep going? Should I keep going?
Comedy has taught me that humor is something that brings people together.
Los Angeles, I love you. You are my home.
They say laughter's contagious, and you see that at shows when people get together and you resonate with everyone at the same time. And when you're able to do that, it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you for the greatest night of my life. I will never forget you.
I know that I have a certain responsibility when I walk out there to make sure that they leave there feeling better than when they walked in.